It's coming up for a year since I was made redundant and I stepped full-time into my spiritual work, so let's talk about it. Being made redundant is always going to knock your confidence, and I already felt quite low in confidence in my job. I felt I was being questioned at every turn and my opinions just weren't being trusted. The interesting thing is that I was working in a world that I'd never really wanted to be in. COVID, I think for a lot of us, took us down completely different paths and made us do things that we didn't necessarily mean to do. I ended up being a social media manager for a few small businesses, and then I saw a job via a friend of mine for this incredible role. I just went for it because I thought, oh, why not? And I got the job. Then the guy who hired me left within a few weeks, and I was left with a company who were thinking, we're not quite sure what to do with this person because the guy who's left had all the ideas. And so I was left scrabbling for probably about a year and a bit, wondering quite why I was there, trying my best to fill the role that had been given to me with people who didn't really know quite what they wanted. But the positive of it is that I had actually a really wonderful time. I met some amazing people. I got to do some incredible things. I actually grew my confidence in so many ways because I was doing things I'd never done before. Producing beautiful videos. I was working with teams of videographers and editors and photographers and working at big events, and it was very glamorous and very beautiful. And actually what I take from it is I had a really bloody good time, quite frankly. Then, I out the blue got made redundant. I went in one day and by lunchtime I had to leave. Bit of a shocker, and took a little while to get over the shock. I think more than anything, I think there was a sense of relief to be leaving. I think anyone who's going through a job where perhaps they don't feel supported or they don't feel understood, it is hard to do that kind of work. But to keep showing up every day with a smile on your face and doing your best is all you can do. And for a long time I was thinking, could I have done more? Should I have done more? Should I have fought for my role? There were situations there that actually, now in hindsight, I wouldn't have put up with. People said things to me that weren't appropriate, such a people pleaser. I just let things go. That now, a year into my own growth and my own journey, I would now not put up with those sorts of things. Anyway, I got stuck in a mental loop for a while. Then there's the sense of rejection, a bit of anger around that, frustration, even grief to a point, because you make friends at work, don't you? I had lovely friends. I was going there every day for over a year. It was a big chunk of time. Anyway, there you go. You get out the other side. But it was interesting. The biggest feeling I had, and I don't know if you'd relate to this, is this sense of who am I now? Because I've been doing this kind of work for 4 years, so what do I do now? None of those things are relating to me anymore. I don't resonate with that anymore. I don't want to be in that world. And that's when my spiritual work came back to me. I became a Reiki master in 2015. I'd been doing Reiki professionally since 2014 at a level 2 practitioner level, and then went into Reiki master at 2015. And then I had a completely different experience and ended up going to church from about 2017 to sort of 2021-ish, and stopped the Reiki side of things, but obviously was still kind of on a spiritual journey, just in a different way. So then I had a bit of a tower moment with this redundancy, and it really led me to feel, who am I? I know who I am in the eyes of other people, in the eyes of my clients, in the eyes of the world. I'm a copywriter and I can write anything you want, but that isn't me. So that started me down this path of figuring out who I was and relearn what it was I wanted and what I needed, and who I am at my core. Because if we want to start living our purpose and working on purpose, we have to know who we are. We have to know what we have to offer the world, and that's easier said than done. And I mean, my goodness, if my purpose is sitting in a sunny corner filming on a peaceful Sunday with the birds tweeting outside, then I'm fine with that. That is all good for me, and I'm so thankful, to be honest, that life shifted me when it did last year. And I think that's a big takeaway here. Although, the doors are opening. That's interesting. As I'm saying this, the balcony doors just opened themselves on a slight breeze. I love that. Spirit's like, yes, open the doors to change. So that's what I was going to say. The takeaway message here is, although when we have those big tower moments, we're like, oh my God, what now? What do I do? Who am I? just be willing to step through those doors. Be willing to take that chance. Make a change. Don't just immediately fall back into what you were already doing. I spent a while looking for jobs that were similar, and I was like, oh, this just doesn't suit me. And I was like, oh, maybe I should do it freelance. Maybe I'll sell packets of, pre-made content and things like that. Didn't fit right, and I did all this work for it, and I was like, no, this isn't suiting me either. I highly recommend this. I ended up having a complete Instagram social media switch off. It was really tough at first because I'd been on social media for so long, for my work, for myself. I had quite a popular fashion Instagram account as well, and I took about 4 or 5 weeks off. Well, that was interesting, and I really do recommend it, because again, what you're being when you're online all the time is you're being yourself, but through the eyes of someone else. You're not looking at yourself, you're looking at yourself going, will other people like that? What do they think of that? Will people comment on that? I took this break. That was really good for me, because I wouldn't wake up every morning being like, what's going on my Instagram? What should I talk about today? What should I post about? What should I wear? I was like, what do I want to do today? What do I want to wear today? What do I want to think about, or where do I want to go? Not for anyone else, but for me. And that's when I slowly but surely ended up coming back into my spirituality. I'd noticed a few things had happened while I was still at the job. I'd booked on to do a gong bath, which wasn't something I'd been particularly drawn to do for a long time. And I feel like that opened me up in a big way to re-looking at my spiritual life. I'd received this beautiful bracelet. It's all around manifestation. I had no idea where it come from. To this day, I don't know where it came from, but I found out later on it was to do with manifestation. So I was like, my goodness, like the universe is calling me. It's like my invitation back in. So all these little things that, when you go back and you realise the little steps you've taken to get to where you were. And it doesn't matter how far down a road you get, always look back and see what led you to where you are now, because that'll help you unpick it. And whether that's in a positive way, suddenly feeling like I want to do a gong bath, getting this bracelet in the post, taking this break on Instagram and reawakening myself during that time, or it's a negative thing. How did I end up in a job where I was basically feel like my confidence was being knocked, and to just be doing that and allowing that. Look back in all the situations, wherever you are now, and learn the lessons. So really, I think I ended up turning back to my spirituality initially for support, watching Reiki videos, watching some sort of card videos of what's to come, the guidance videos, which is why I love doing them now, because they can genuinely support people on their journey. And I know that from personal experience that these things really actually began to help me take steps forward again. And the Reiki videos really inspired me. I was like, oh, I can do that. I know how to do that. And it's changed a lot since I was doing it. 2017, you weren't finding people doing Reiki on YouTube. Not really, anyway. I don't remember it. It was all in person, but certainly not online. And I was really inspired by it, and I was excited about it. So one day in the June, I just went and sat in my garden and I recorded some Reiki videos in the sun. And I thought, this is it. This is good. This feels good, and I want to do this. I want to just go around sunny places and film Reiki and do Reiki and talk about these wonderful things. So that was really the start again for me, going back into Reiki. I'd had a break from it, so I think this is quite an important thing to consider, is don't be afraid to train or retrain when you are stepping into something new. I was already a Reiki master. I technically didn't have to go and retrain in Reiki, but I went and got reattuned to master level because it felt important to me to do that, to bring it back in and open up my channels again, but also to relearn. I hadn't done it for a while, and I wanted to make sure that when I was stepping back out and talking about these things, I was doing it from a place of understanding. I was listening to someone talk a while ago about the fact that we can get stuck in the idea of being a student. That can end up feeling quite disempowering. You can end up feeling like you're never good enough. I'll never get to read all the books. I'll never be able to do all the courses. I'll never have all the knowledge that these other people have. You have your knowledge, and you take the knowledge that you need. That's what a teacher does. That's what a leader does. That's what a coach does. You learn what you need to learn. You go and do it. You go back. You develop yourself some more while still doing it. Don't wait to do the thing. Don't wait to bring yourself onto the stage of life, until you've read all the books and done all the teaching. You'll never get anywhere, and you'll feel so disempowered and so lacking in confidence. So the big thing for me next was to then start putting myself out there and to start building that confidence. And I took charge of that. And again, a really good takeaway is to take charge of your journey. When you have been knocked sideways and you don't know what's going on or how something has happened, you've suddenly ended up somewhere and you can feel so discombobulated by that, you need to take back the control. So you need to then sort of parent yourself, teach yourself, look after yourself. So I was like, I need to get this party started. So I began doing Reiki, and at first I just did it for free for a couple of friends. I had a couple of sessions, and after that I was getting some good feedback. I opened myself up to get some clients. The universe very kindly brought a few in for me through word of mouth and referrals, which was wonderful. And then I had to be extra brave and start doing it online. And this is where it really helped my confidence. I began doing my little videos and putting them on YouTube, putting them on TikTok. It was okay, it kind of took off a little bit here and there. But I knew I wanted to do more than that. I'm psychic, so I'm able to pick up on what's going on in people's lives through their energy. So I began offering free 10-minute videos for complete strangers on TikTok. I was picking up on things that people were going through. I was picking up on people in their lives. I was picking up on illnesses, mental, emotional things going on in their lives. And I was able to work through it with the Reiki. And I was picking up on this in complete strangers. Some of these people, I didn't even have a name. I didn't have a picture for them. There was nothing I could know about them. And I was doing this. And for me, that was the biggest confidence boost in my own abilities. And that again pushed me further. So then I started doing more on YouTube, which I'm really thankful for, because what an incredible community there is here. It's so lovely. I had a few people asking me to do Reiki attunements. So then I built up attunements for level 1 and 2. So I started doing them. And so everything just started flowing and my confidence was growing. So just step out of your comfort zone when you have these big moments in life, whether it's a redundancy or a breakup or whatever it is. Just take the time, figure out who you are on the inside, away from all the noise and all the people. And it's not a fun experience, but I had to do it. I knew I had to do it. I didn't just push everything down. I actually fully embedded myself in it. Journaling, I had some Reiki sessions myself, obviously started doing my Reiki and relearning and retraining. Take all the steps, make the action steps, because that is what's going to make you feel empowered at the end of this. You're going to get to the end and onto the next phase of your life feeling like you took charge. You didn't just allow the world to fling you about like it had done in the moment where you were split up with or made redundant, and in this case made redundant. No more of that. Take charge. How have you dealt with things in the past? I would love to know if there was any sort of big aha moments or big steps that you took, or small steps. Sometimes it's the smallest steps, and that's why we have to look back and see where we've come from and how far we've come. Recording my first 10-minute video for a complete stranger on TikTok, posting it, crossing my fingers, actually the things I'd said resonated with them in any way whatsoever, and them going, oh my gosh, you've like literally touched on everything that's been going on with me, I can't believe it. 10 minutes. It was a tiny 10-minute thing, and just in that moment, my confidence in myself, my abilities, and my future, it took off. I keep pushing forward. Currently, I have started doing my live Zoom webinars for my own healing modality that's called Joyscape. I'm building something and I'm growing something, and I feel like now this is why I had this tower moment last year, because I feel like now I'm fully in the flow. Like, this is my life every day now. This is my full-time job. This is what I do, and my Joyscape is kind of flowing out and it's coming to life. So I'm having to do the things and push the buttons and step out there and be brave to kind of get the feedback that I need, and that's terrifying. I was in the car with my husband and he was like, you just have to do it, you just have to put it out there. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And that was on a Thursday or a Friday, and by the Sunday I put out some stuff on socials and I had a few people turn up, and I was like, that's it, done the first one. And when you're working in your purpose, it feels so much easier to do these things, because you know you're offering something that's from your heart. You're not offering it based on what you've seen other people do or what you think you should be doing. You're not making anything your own that isn't actually yours. Yeah. Share your advice in the comments. If anything here that I've said has resonated, again, please share. I'd love to know your own experiences, and I think we can really help and support each other go through these things in life. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is an unusual video for me. I wanted to talk about something that had led me to this point, and that I hope might support other people who are going through it right now. I absolutely believe that you've got this. These tower moments come and they test us, but they make us stronger. And whether it's a redundancy or whatever it is you're going through right now, I really believe in my heart that if you can take the steps, the smallest action steps that you can every day, tiny, tiny steps, and sometimes those steps are breathe and just be, meditate, to be quiet, walk outside. Those action steps will all add up. I suddenly felt this real call to start walking out in the world, and that caused some of the biggest shifts for me. Really big, empowering, confidence boosting, emotional shifts. Just being out in nature with a bumblebee floating across my face under shadow there. If I can help in any way, you know where I am. Please leave me a comment, and I send you so much love. Take care.